Hey, Olive. So hopefully the little note I started sending you kind of made sense. Um, I think there's an easier way of looking at it. I think that's that formula that I gave you. I'm going to take a quick look at what I sent you. Yeah, what 1 inch stands for on the horizontal divided by what 1 inch stands for on the vertical. I think that is a better way of looking at it rather than, I mean, it's like, yeah, horizontal scale divided by vertical scale, but you know, that's tricky because the scales are going to be different. I think it's easier rather than trying to understand what the scale is, just measure it ourselves. So here's an example of how to do it. I logged into Strava, and this is just the way I keep track of my bike commutes and things like that. So this is my ride to work in the morning. So we looked at this back in 105 when I had you. I'm sure we did anyway. So here's a map of my elevation, and you can tell right away there's definitely some exaggeration going on because down here that's a mile, 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles, and then up here that's only 200 feet. 200 feet, 200 feet. That's because generally speaking, when you go on roads, you're not riding up a 45-degree angle or worse. You're riding up a pretty mild, by comparison, hill. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a snapshot of my commute. We're going to drop it into Paint because I'm ghetto. And then I'm going to come over here, and I found a picture of a ruler. And what we're going to do is we're going to snapshot that. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this ruler into the image in 2 places. So the first thing we're going to do, with your permission, I'm going to rotate this. Yeah, we're going to use metric on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure what, you know what, in my email I said what 1 inch stands for. I think we're going to use what a centimeter stands for instead of an inch. I think that makes more sense. Centimeter instead of an inch, just because metric is easier to use. And we're going to zoom in a little bit here too. Whoa, that's a lot of zoom, but that's good. That's really good, actually. Okay, so here's the ruler we're going to use. I don't need very much of it, just that'll do right there. So I'm going to bring the ruler up here, and we're going to see what 1 mile looks like. So here's 0 to 1. We're going to I'm going to start with 16. Okay, so let's go centimeters. I'm trying to line this 16 up with the 0. Okay, I think I got it. So there's 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters, what does that look like? 3.85 maybe. We'll be as precise as we can. That looks like 3.85 centimeters. Okay, I'm going to keep note up here. So 3.85 centimeters is 1 mile. Okay. Now I'm looking ahead, and that's actually not going to be useful because when we do the vertical, we're going to have to do feet. So let's change that to 5,280 feet right now because that's what we're going to need to do. Okay. Now, in order to know what 1 centimeter equals, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to divide this and this by 3.85 to get this to 1 centimeter. That's what 3.85 centimeters means. We're going to want 1 centimeter. So let me wander over here, and let's do 5,280 feet divided by 3.85. Okay, there we go. 1 centimeter on the horizontal is about 1,371 feet. Okay, there we go. That's what we're going to want to use right there. That's going to be that right there. Can I highlight that? I don't know if I can in Paint. I'll put it in parentheses. That's going to be your numerator of your exaggeration. So this is the horizontal. Okay, which is gorgeous. That's gorgeous. I mean, we definitely need that. That's the numerator of your component. Now we got to get the vertical. All right. So now we got to do is we got to come down here, grab this ruler, and you can do this much easier, obviously, on a map. I mean, rather than rotate it left. I just went the wrong way. Rotate it 180. Okay. Now it's reversed, but that's totally fine. This will work, I think. Okay, so now we're going to go from here to here, and that looks like it's almost 1, doesn't it? Let me zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to call it 0.95. It looks like it falls between them. So I'm going to call that 0.95. So for the vertical, it's 0.95 centimeters is 200 feet. 0.95 is 200 feet. So now we got it. We already have it in feet. All we got to do now is divide 200 by 0.95. It's going to be pretty close to 200. I'm guessing like 205 or something like that. 210, 211 actually, 211. Okay, so that's going to be 1 centimeter equals 211. Oops, not feet. I'm going to put that in parentheses too. So now what you've got, hold it out a little bit. Here we go. These two values here, this one and this one, are what you need to get your vertical exaggeration. So what you do is you take the horizontal scale, which is what 1 centimeter equals on the horizontal, which in this case is 1371 feet, and you divide it by the vertical, what 1 centimeter equals, which is 211 feet. So 1371 divided by 211. I can remember that, right? 1371 divided by 211. We got about a 6.5 magnification, 6.5, which is hilarious because we talk about that all the time when in Math 105, we talk about how steep it looks versus how steep it actually is. And I didn't realize it was that exaggerated, 6.5. Now, in case you're wondering, as I was, when I first read the definition of what vertical exaggeration meant, I was confused as to why they put the horizontal in the top and the vertical in the denominator. And then I realized that it's because they want the number to be bigger than 1. If we did it the other way, if you did 211 divided by 1371, you end up with a fraction, which doesn't make, I mean, it makes sense because what this tells you is the vertical scale is 15% what the horizontal scale is. That does make sense, but it doesn't make sense mentally because an exaggeration seems like it should be getting bigger, not smaller. Even though mathematically it's the correct number, I think our mind would interpret it correctly. So what you're saying is that the horizontal in this case, when we divide 1371 by 211, the horizontal is worth 6.5 times more than the vertical is. All right? So I hope that makes sense. All you got to do is you got to make sure you measure your horizontal and your vertical and see what they're worth, quote unquote. And yeah, I hope that makes sense. And let me know if it doesn't. Talk to you soon, Olive. Bye.